You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.
And greetings, my friends, patriots, lovers of democracy, truth, and justice, believers in peace, freedom, and the American way. Thom Hartmann here with you. We're broadcasting live today from the Radio Row at Health Action. Health Action is a health care conference put on by Families USA here in Washington, D.C., and later on in the program, we'll be having, as we did yesterday, a number of fascinating guests on the topics of health care in the United States. But it being the first hour of our program, of course, it is Senator Bernie Sanders' Brunch with Bernie, our national town hall meeting where the guy that I think of as America's senator, although Vermonters know he's theirs, is on the line with us. Senator Sanders?
Good to be with you, Tom.
Hey, Bernie, it's great to have you with us. You know, you've been on this program for 8, 9 years, a long, long time. And from day one, you have been talking about inequality. And I understand that that's going to be a theme of President Obama's speech on Tuesday. It's like finally the Democratic Party is getting with the program?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have made some progress. We've had in the last couple of years Occupy Wall Street doing a great job. Pope Francis has made the point that income and wealth inequality, not just in the United States, of course, but throughout the world, is a moral issue, and I agree with that. We are living in a period where, in the United States today, Tom, the top 1% owns 38% of the wealth of America, and what people are shocked to hear is that the bottom 60%, majority of the people, own all of 2.3%.
Wow.
You got one family, the Walton family of Walmart, owning more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people.
Which means that's more wealth than the entire African-American population of this country.
Yes, I would strongly suspect that's the case.
That's
one
amazing.
One family. And then in terms of income, wealth is what you accumulate over your lifetime. In terms of income, the last studies that we have seen from 2009 to 2012 tell us that 95% of all new income goes to the top 1%. So most people, many people listening to the show, maybe they got a 1% increase, maybe they got 0, maybe they lost, their wages went down. So of all of the new income, all of the, if you like, wage increases, 95% in the last few years have gone to the top 1%. And you're living at a moment where wealth and income inequality in this country is worse than any time than 1928, just before the Great Depression. And obviously there are people who would argue, economists who would argue, that that was what precipitated the Great Depression, that so few had so much and so many had so little. And when so few have not enough money to spend, you don't create jobs and so forth and so on. So this issue of income and wealth inequality is a huge issue, and it touches on another huge issue. And that is getting back to Citizens United, and we're celebrating the fourth anniversary of that disastrous Supreme Court decision, which in the midst of all of this income and wealth inequality, what Citizens United said to the wealthiest people in this country, well, guess what? You know, you own the oil companies, you own the media, and now we give you an opportunity to own the United States government. And people like the Koch brothers, who, by the way, are the second wealthiest family in the country, somewhere around $75 billion, what they are now doing is spending huge amounts of money, trying to create an America that works for millionaires and billionaires. And they're working with other right-wing billionaires to do that. In the last election, the Koch brothers spent something like $400 million. There is reason to believe that they're going to be spending more in the future. And this is just a complete undermining of what democracy is about. It is extraordinarily frightening. They have an agenda which is way out of touch with where the American people are. But because of their wealth and because of their power, they can elect people to support that very minority perspective. And, you know, this is just a huge issue that we have got to deal with. Other issues that are out there that we're dealing with right now is this whole business of the NSA. My own view is when the NSA files virtually every phone call, the record of every phone call made in the United States of America, to me, that is a clear-cut violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. I don't think there's too much doubt about that. We've recently had the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board also made the point that they think that what is going on is unconstitutional. For those people living in Vermont or near Vermont, we're going to be doing a town meeting on February 1st, Saturday, February 1st at Montpelier City Hall, where we're going to have at 1 p.m., and we're going to have David Cole and Heidi Bogosian, two very strong civil liberties advocates, come, and we'll have a town meeting discussing where we are right now with regard to privacy rights and constitutional rights in this country. Tom, we have, just as chairman of the Veterans Committee, I have just introduced the most comprehensive, I think, sweeping veterans legislation introduced in several decades. And what this bill would do is not only address the unfair cutback in pension benefits for military retirees, but would also expand VA health care for our veterans, provide dental care for our veterans, make sure that we address the problems of sexual assault, that we protect veterans in the event of another shutdown to make sure that they get their disabled vets gets the checks that they need. A whole lot of stuff in this bill, which I think is going to go a long way of past to providing support to men and women who put their lives on the line to defend us, and many of whom are struggling today. I'm very proud that this legislation has the support of every major veterans organization in the country, and I'm going to be working hard to see that it gets passed. So that's those are some of the issues. Oh, last but not least, obviously, is that when I get back to Washington on Monday night, I think we're going to be looking at, once again, the need to extend long-term unemployment benefits to those workers who have lost those benefits. And we're talking about 1.6 million workers who have been unemployed for long periods of time, who are having a very difficult job finding work, and who are now kind of, many of them are struggling quite terribly because they don't have any income coming in. So we want to see if we can get that bill passed. Our Republican friends are saying that, well, gee, they'd love to do it, but they need to cut from someplace else. Well, when Bush was president, they passed extended unemployment 5 separate times. It wasn't a political issue then, but apparently now that Obama's president has become a political issue. I think that's unfortunate. And this issue about extending unemployment benefits, long-term unemployment benefits, is not just protecting some of the most vulnerable people in the country and their kids and their families. It is also protecting our economy, because if this 1.6 million people have no revenue, no income to spend, what the CBO tells us it will cost us about 200,000 jobs because they're not spending money in their communities, and reduce the GDP next year by about 0.2%. We also have on the pipeline the absolute need to raise the minimum wage. Right now, the national minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Many states, including Vermont, have done better, but legislation has been introduced to raise the national minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. I think we can go higher than that, but $10.10 is a good start, and it means that what we don't want to see is somebody working 40 or 50 hours a week and still living in dire poverty. So this would not accomplish all of our problems, but it would take us a step forward.
Yeah, definite step forward. Senator Bernie Sanders is with us. It's our Brunch with Bernie hour. We are broadcasting live from Radio Row here in Washington, D.C. from the Health Action Conference, Families USA. By the way, a quick shout out to Davis Community Media, our newest affiliate, a cable system in Davis, California, which is also where the University of California, Davis is, serving that town and surrounding towns. Greetings. We'll be right back.